So I get asked from time to time from my students if what's taught in this course applies to tournament poker in addition to cash games. And the answer is yes and no. So it's not a clear-cut answer, and I get asked this question probably about once or twice a month. So I want to make sure that I address it in a specific video as part of my course updates here in 2019. So this course has a primary focus in cash games, and that's for a specific reason. Number one, I'm a cash game specialist. I'm not a tournament specialist. So my courses, they focus on poker fundamentals as well as cash game strategies. Now, in addition to that, the purpose of this course is to lay the groundwork to turn you into a good poker player, where you can take that fundamental knowledge and you can apply it to tournaments, or you can apply it to cash games. So there are universal concepts and strategies that are going to apply to either you're playing a cash game or whether you're sitting down and playing a sit and go or an MTT. And a lot of people don't understand that beyond the basic fundamental understanding of the game, there are specific strategies that apply to cash games and specific strategies and mathematics that apply to tournament poker, depending upon the type of tournament that you're playing. So what I try to do in this course, because I'm a cash game specialist, and what I found for my students is that people that are good at cash games tend to do a lot better at tournament poker than people that go from sit and goes and tournament poker and then they try to go to cash games. They tend to struggle. Now, the reason for that, typically what I find is that people that make the transition from sit and goes and tournaments then to cash games, they struggle because in these tournaments, they're typically playing short stacks, so the decisions are a lot simpler. You're either going to be all in a lot pre-flop, or you're going to be all in a lot by the flop or the turn. Well, in a 100 big blind cash game, or when you're playing deep stack with 200 or 300 big blinds, you're not going to get all in that often. And so the decisions are a lot more difficult, and you're also playing for, in terms of the amount of the bet sizes in big blinds, you're going to play for more money. Now, with that said, this course also focuses on building your foundational knowledge. So in regards to understanding basic pre-flop strategy, things such as why we raise, what a good sizing is, the considerations for that, ranges that we would isolation raise, ranges that we would 3-bet for value or 3-bet as a bluff, and then post-flop looking at things such as board textures that we can value bet on, board textures that we can semi-bluff on, and board textures that we can just pure bluff on. That's all just general good solid poker foundational information. And then in addition to all that stuff, there's other concepts such as various theorems and so forth, such as the gap theorem, the Beluga theorem, things such as expected value and equity, and basic poker mathematics such as rule 2 and 4 and so forth. That applies to everything, but primarily my focus here is teaching you how to play that and apply it to a cash game. So for all that, plus that this course is around 20 hours in length, and it may actually be longer by the time that I'm done with this update, is that there's just not time or room to put MTT material in here. It would just make this course astronomically large. And in addition to that, I have 2 specific beginner MTT courses on my poker school from a specific poker coach where he is a tournament specialist. And so I allowed him to create specific courses as well. So I recommend that my students start with a class like this, and then if they want to, jump over to a class like that, such as our MTT 101 or MTT 202 course. So getting back to the initial question, so the answer is yes and no. Specific things you can apply, but other things we don't cover in here. We don't cover the different ranges that will change throughout the different time that a tournament goes through, or the life of a tournament, from early stages to mid stages to late stage to bubble play to final table play. We don't look at things such as ICM and how you can develop different ranges and push fold ranges with things like that, and other dynamics as well that apply specifically to tournaments. But I always recommend people start with a course like this, and then when they're done, jump to a tournament course. And like I said, we have a couple of those for beginners at my poker school, and you can check those out in your spare time, but I'd recommend you finish this course first. So if you have any questions, any follow-up questions regarding all this, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Take care.